What is going on, guys? Welcome back into another video. And with the launch of the Root of Nightmares raid, it brought a few new weapons with some amazing perk combos that really fit a wide variety of playstyles inside of Destiny 2. Now, really, none of these weapons stand out more and are more unique than the new raid legendary shotgun, Nessa's Oblation. Now, in this video, I'm going to go over a few different perk combos that you can really aim to get that makes this the best energy slug shotgun in the game right now. We're also going to touch on a few artifact perks and a couple of fragments that you can add to your void builds to help highlight this weapon so you can dominate any activity that you're doing during the Season of Defiance. Now, before we get into it, if you're enjoying the content on the channel, feel free to hit that thumbs up and sub to the channel. It definitely helps me out and I really appreciate all the support. Now, to start things off, the Nessa's Oblation is a legendary void slug frame shotgun that has an RPM of 65 and a mag size of 6. Now, this weapon can be obtained by completing the first encounter of the Root of Nightmares raid, or once you've unlocked it, you can also buy it from the final chest after you defeat Nazarek if you have enough spoils to do so. Now, this weapon is also craftable once you unlock 5 red box versions of this weapon, and there's also an adept version that you can obtain from the master raid as well. Now, as with all the other raid weapons, it does have the origin trait Harmonic Resonance, which is equipping multiple weapons from this set grants this weapon increased reload speed and handling. It also deals increased damage versus Tormentors, Lucent Hive, and Guardians using their supers. Now, again, the way this trait works is that if you pair this weapon with another raid weapon or two, you're going to get a nice bump to damage versus those specific enemies. At times 1, you should get about a 3 to 4% damage bump, and at times 2, it's going to be right around 10%. Now, I feel like most of us kind of associate slug shotguns with DPS situations. And with this weapon being an energy weapon, it is at a little bit of a disadvantage versus its kinetic special weapon counterparts. Now, as of now, kinetic special weapons such as Heritage are doing 15% more damage than energy special weapons are. Now, this is definitely a little bit of a bummer because there's really nothing the weapon is doing wrong here. It's just the slot that the weapon is placed in to why it's doing less damage. Now, even though this weapon is still capable during DPS, it's not really the main reason why I'm going to recommend you add this to your arsenal. The amazing perk combos that we can get to drop on this weapon, along with the synergy with our seasonal artifact perks and a few of the fragments that we have within Void 3.0, is what really makes this weapon stand out as the best energy slug shotgun in the game. Now, in the left column, it does have a few perks that can drop that will help with reload situations and your mag size. Perks like Envious Assassin, 4 times the Charm, and Demolitionist are all great options here, but I think the one that stands out the most is going to be Reconstruction. Now, this perk is going to allow the weapon to slowly reload itself over time, and it's also going to give us up to double the amount of ammo capacity that we usually have. And if you pair this up with something like Tactical Mag, you have the ability to have potentially 14 rounds in the magazine. Now, even though Reconstruction is a great perk on its own, there is still another perk in this left column that I'm going to recommend over it. Now, this perk is so strong this season because it can be paired with some of the artifact perks available that it will absolutely change the way you play the game. And that perk is Repulsor Brace. Now, the way this perk works is on a weapon kill against an enemy affected by a void debuff, it's going to grant us a 45 HP void overshield for 8 seconds. Now, in order to get that void debuff, you can throw on fragments like Echo of Undermining, which are void grenades weaken targets, or Echo of Instability, which is defeating targets with grenades is going to grant volatile rounds to your void weapons. But the best way to take advantage of this unique perk is by activating the seasonal artifact perk Volatile Flow, which is going to allow us to get volatile rounds in our void weapons every single time we pick up an Orb of Power. Now, this is absolutely insane because most builds this season are really centered around generating Orbs of Power. And since there are going to be Orbs of Power everywhere, every time you grab one, you'll have volatile rounds in your shotgun, leading to you always getting an overshield every single time you get a shotgun kill. Now, again, this overshield is going to be 45 HP or last for 8 seconds, but you can also pair it up with another fragment that takes this this overshield to another level. If we throw on Echo of Persistence, this is going to allow our void buffs applied to us to have increased duration, and this is basically going to take our overshield from 8 seconds all the way up to 12 seconds. But the way that Repulsor Brace synergizes with the artifact perks for this season and some of the fragments out of Void 3.0, it really should put a ton of value on this weapon and convince you to go grind for it. Now, with that being said, there are still a few great perks that you can strive to get in the right column slot of this weapon. Perks like Vorpal Weapon, Frenzy, and Harmony are all great options, but there are only two that really stand out to me in this slot. Now, the first one is going to be the raid-specific perk, Paracausal Affinity, and this is final blows of energy types matching this weapon's alignment, grant increased damage for a short period of time, light final blows boost arc, solar, and void weapons, and darkness final blows will boost stasis and strand weapons. Now, basically, the way this perk is going to work is that every time we get a light final blow, whether it be from abilities or weapons, since this is a void weapon, it's going to give us a 20% increase to damage for 6 seconds. Now, as of right now, I have not gotten a roll with this actual perk on it yet. I feel like it's super intriguing and could do some real damage to yellow bar enemies. Now, the second perk that I'm on the lookout for in this last column is going to be the Stabilizing Rounds, which is final blows cause nearby targets to become volatile. Now, this one is going to synergize extremely well with Repulsor Brace because every time we get a kill, that enemy is going to explode and apply volatile to any other enemy within a 6.5 meter radius of that initial kill. Now, this combo really leads to an insane gameplay loop where you constantly have volatile rounds, enemies are exploding everywhere, and you constantly have an overshield to keep you safe in sticky situations. Now, with that being said, the PvE God Roll that I'm going to be on the lookout for is one with Arrowhead Break as our barrel, and we're also looking for Assault Mag as our magazine because it's going to increase our rounds per minute from 65 to 70. Now, the main perk I'm going to be looking for in the left column is going to be Repulsor Brace, so we can take advantage of that overshield. I do think you could consider Reconstruction as well if you want one for DPS situations. And in the right column, I'm looking for one with the Stabilizing Rounds, so we can make those enemies volatile, looping our overshield non-stop. Now, to wrap things up, this weapon has been a ton of fun to use over the last few days. I was actually lucky enough to get one to drop with Repulsor Brace this past week, and testing it with my Void build that we actually covered here a few weeks ago has been a ton of fun. It synergizes really well, and having that overshield is an absolute must. It'll absolutely change the way you play PvE this season. Now, as always, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for this weapon, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Guys, thanks again for checking out the content on the channel. I really hope this video helps you on your quest to find the perfect Slug energy shotgun for this season, and I will see you all in the next video.